I'm trying to figure out what the connection between Patrick Kinsella and this case is. Do you know of a connection?
I don't know the connection, but
If you don't
Listen,
know of a connection, then
okay.
how can you insist in the House that there is one?
okay, wait a minute. That isn't what I said. What I said is that the connection is this, that these questions all arise out of documents from the BC Rail.
They don't.
Well, wait a minute, how do you know that? You don't know that any more than I do.
We
saw the documents yesterday.
And they're in the library.
Okay, then I answered the question in two ways. One is that the general issue arises out of what's taking place in the courtroom. And if there are ancillary documents that were not filed in the trial or were not eliminated by the judge in the trial, then there's an allegation made against a person, and I'm not obligated to answer that. I have no knowledge of what took place, and I don't necessarily trust those people to say that these documents are not a part of the overall number of documents that were a part of the trial.
But you're not aware of any connection between Kinsella and this case?
Well, look, I have to be cautious because there's no possible way that I'm going to comment on anything that arises out of that trial. It's wrong for me to do it. I mean, you know, if you consider not only the fact that I'm a member of cabinet, but because of my unique position, of my background, it would be wrong for me to comment on something
But isn't this an extremely convenient way to keep the Premier from having to answer what his campaign manager was doing for 300 grand?
First of all, that's not my function to shield the Premier from that. That's not my job. If I think a question is a proper one, I'll answer it. The other thing is that if there are allegations of impropriety, as they suggest, then there's a place for them to go. And I already said that in the legislature.
But I haven't heard any allegations of impropriety. All I hear is they're trying to find out what he was doing for 300 grand.
Oh, well, come on now. Let's get serious. The fact is that they're suggesting that there were contracts that were tendered without any bidding and matters of that sort. I mean, they're not asking those questions based on any kind of proper procedure that may or may not have been followed. So
Last question.
Is offering a statement of fact commenting on the trial? I mean, they're asking you what he did, and not a judgment on that, but just saying what is it?
Absolutely. If it's before the court, it is totally improper for any member of the legislature to comment on it.
But we're trying to figure out how do you define what's before the court?
I can't answer 12. I can't answer 12 questions at once. I mean,
do you have any recourse to find out if it's before the course? Like, could
okay,
you?
which one of those 8 questions you want me to answer?
Go with Sophie's.
Can you find out? Can you find out for us?
Can you find out
if this is a matter before the court?
No, I'm not going to find out. But you know,
why?
First, it's not my job to find out what's. I mean, that's something that you people should do. The fact is that you've got an MLA from Nanaimo who regularly goes into a courtroom, comes out, and comments on what goes on in the courtroom. Totally improper. I'm not going to rise to the bait and comment on those things. It is wrong for me and wrong for any MLA to comment what's going on in a courtroom. It is wrong. It's an unfair burden that puts on the trial judge. When you got legislators that are commenting on the evidence, that's wrong. That's totally improper. And the MLA for Nanaimo keeps doing that. It's totally wrong.
But we're not talking
everybody.
about what the
Thank
MLA for Nanaimo is doing. We're asking whether or not you can find out for us whether or not it's appropriate to ask this question.
No, first of all, it's not for me to find out whether or not it's improper for you to ask the question. What I'm saying to you is that I'm not going to comment on anything that directly or indirectly comes from the trial.
Even though we don't know it's from the
Even though we don't know
everybody.
it's from the trial?
You know what?
Will you comment if we find out for sure that it's not before the court?
I'm not going to speculate on what you may or may not do. The fact is, what I've told you is that if it's unrelated to the trial, then why are they making the allegations in the House? Why don't they go before the registrar and lay the complaint?
They haven't made any allegations. They're asking what he was paid for.
Absolutely, they've made allegations.
What's the allegation? They've asked what he's paid for. $297,000.
No, and they suggested the impropriety in the tendering of the contract.
Well, we're just asking what the $297,000.
Well, I don't know. I don't know what the $297,000 is for. I don't know, and it's not my business.
Thank you, everybody.